Welcome to Your Life in Film. I'm your host, Ted Bennett. Joining me this week, Sean DiArena. Sean Arena? Sean DiArena. I think I just refer to him as Sean. I didn't think that the D was necessary in our conversation. Sean is a writer and photographer. Some of the documentaries he has co-written, Cherries in Season, which takes the audience through a season in the life of a bar in one of Fire Island's most iconic LGBTQ plus communities. He also co-wrote Keeper of the Bay, a film about marine conservation through the eyes of a native Hawaiian woman as she fights to continue her family legacy. That was on PBS. I'll link them in the comments. Most recently, Sean has been working as a creator and a production manager for Images of Transhumanity, which I'll link in the comments also. Sean was a good talk, good chat. I liked Sean. We got on quite well quite quickly, so that was always nice. We started the conversation with his work as a journalist, transitioning into film, and people taking it a bit too seriously. So there's the preamble. I'll lead you in.
I worked in news. So
okay.
I did both local and national news, and when I was out in the field, I got shot at. I had to talk to murderers. I had to interview people who just lived through gang shootings, and I lived through hurricanes. I almost died multiple times. And then I go to this place where it's we're interviewing celebrities and we're talking about sports and we're and people are like, oh, this is really important. I'm like, is it?
It's not that important.
It's not that important.
It's really not that important.
And that definitely used to piss people off. A lot. It used to piss people off. Because my job was physical production, so they'd be working on a production. They'd need something to make it work, whether it was crew or sets or equipment or whatever. We'd get it, we'd book it, we'd make sure everyone had what they needed. But then at the end of the day, people would get their ego bruised, and then I'd get my hand slapped, and you're just I can't deal with all these egos. I'm sorry. This is not high stakes. We're not doctors. This isn't the military.
Honestly.
Y'all, it's really, it's okay. It's really okay. And
we're having a nice time.
Yeah. This is fine. So it was great to, meet all these celebrities and actors and icons all the time. But after a while, you're just I don't care anymore.
Oh God. When I was a film journalist, I think I interviewed Simon Pegg 3 times in about a month, right? All for different venues.
Yeah, right.
And on the third one, he said, how many times are we going to keep doing this? And in my head, I was like, you're right, I don't want to do it anymore.
Yeah.
Because it was just I can't just, everyone's so sycophantic and desperate to try and be their best mate. And I was like, oh, I don't think I can smile and pretend. This isn't it.
Yep.
And after that, it was the Empire Film Awards. I was just I'm not doing any more red carpets.
I don't blame you, man. Red carpets yep. Mm-hmm.
Oh, people think that they are so exciting, and it's
they're
no.
Not. They're really
I can tell
not.
You which actors are drunk all the time. But that's about it.
Yep. It's or I think my favorite thing is when it's funny for me, when I meet people and I tell them what I do and the industry that I work in and so on, they're like, oh, that's so cool. And then after talking to me for 5 minutes, I realize I'm deeply uncool. But then of course people are they'll ask me, oh, what celebrities have you met? And I'll tell them do you want to know who's an asshole and who's not? Because I'll tell you. And
that's
they're
the easy one.
And they're like, no, don't tell me. I'm like, I can tell you. I know. I know who is. You want me to?
I got some arseholes ready.
Do you want me to burst your bubble? Because I will. They don't. People are like, no, I don't want to know. I'm like, okay.
My one was who's it? Someone interviewed Arnold Schwarzenegger once, and they were an acquaintance, and they sort of said he was nice, but the sparkle had gone in his eye, and I was like, oh, that's cut me even deeper. I didn't need to know that the sparkle had gone in his eye.
So I did go to college for film. I do have a degree in film. I am a dweeby, dorky, snobby film student, but I think one of the things that was important for me to learn, and I don't know that it's something that's taught in every film program in a university everywhere, but something that I appreciated from my very first cinema studies class was the professor said, one thing that I want to make clear, and I'm going to hold you all to account for this, is that just because you like something doesn't mean it's good, and just because you don't like something doesn't mean it's bad. I need you to be able to dictate what don't you like about it, why didn't it work for you, and you need to, instead of saying it's good, it's bad, like actually identify what they're doing in the film.
Yes.
And I think that does serve me. That has served me really well, even for filmmakers, films, movies, etc., actors, whoever, that I don't necessarily appreciate their work, that I don't generally like what they do. I'm still able to take things away from it. Even if it's something where I'm like, oh, that didn't work for me, I can ask myself, like, well, why didn't that work for me? Oh, okay, I know now why that didn't work for me. So I know when I do something, I'm going to make sure that I don't do it like that. I'm going to do it like this. Or even if I don't know how I want to do it, I know how I don't want to do it. And that, I think, is really, really important. And I think that's something that's lacking from a lot of conversations. It's just like, I don't like it, so it's bad. Whether it's a movie, whether it's a book, whether it's politics.
Binary.
It's just
I don't like it. That's the end of it. And
right.
It's like, well, no, there's nuance.
Right. Like the world is a giant gray area. This whole it's black and white is not true. Like, it's a spectrum. So let's talk about it.
Yeah. And it also, just because I like it and you don't, let's say, you're not going to hurt my feelings. I like it. What's it matter?
Right.
Like, it doesn't matter whether it's... And, like, objectively, I'm not a fan of Tarantino's work, but I completely understand why it's well received.
Right. Same. You know, it's funny. I think what I had the most trouble with in you know, coming up with my answers and so on for your questions was the controversial take, because not in that I don't have controversial takes, I do. It's that I thought that I was unique in my controversial takes, and then in listening to your past episodes and realizing how many other people kind of have some of those opinions, I'm like, oh, I'm not unique or cool at all. All right, cool, whatever. All right, move that one to the side. I don't want to repeat the same thing that other people have said.
But I like that, like, this controversial opinion. People are like, I don't know if it's controversial. I'm like, we all are thinking it.
Yeah, I'm with you, and I'm very much on the same page as you, as Tarantino. Like, I get it, but people have always been like, "What do you mean you don't like it?" I'm like, I don't like Pulp Fiction. I'm sorry. Like, I get why people do, but like, no, I don't. Like, I will say that something I tell people all the time is my favorite Tarantino film is True Romance, and they go, that's not a Tarantino film. Like, exactly, he wrote it and he had nothing else to do with it.
I've always said the films he wrote but didn't direct are so much better. As soon as he gets his little grubby weirdo hands on it, I'm like, oh, you've ruined it.
Well, have you seen did you listen to or watch the episode of Amy Poehler's podcast when she had on Maya Hawke?
I haven't yet, but I wanted to. Yeah.
One little thing I just have to throw out there because it's relevant to the conversation is Amy Poehler asked her, "Did your mom give you any advice before working with Tarantino in how was she in Once Upon a Time in Hollywood?" And she said, "Cover your feet." And I lost it. I was like, yep, all right. We were all thinking it. Cool.
Yeah. I'm glad Uma's on the case telling the right word. Yeah, man. It's
saying
so,
it like it is.
Saying how it is. It's so, yeah, I don't know. I mean, obviously, I could sit here and bitch about Tarantino all day, but we probably shouldn't.
Yeah, fair enough.
But Yeah, I think it's nice when I find out that other people, because obviously as a film, I studied film,
Yeah.
I am aware that sometimes it can come off as snobbish, and it's like, yes, but bear in mind I have studied film, so this isn't a hobby. If I only had one evening a week to watch a movie, show me Jackie Brown, and that is blaxploitation.
Yep.
That's fine. But I studied film, so we did a whole module on blaxploitation. So I have seen a lot of blaxploitation, and the individual elements of all of those films are infinitely better than Jackie Brown. Now I know Jackie Brown's a bad one to say, because I know not a lot of people like that one, right. But it is the same. It's that sort of thing. Like, I prefer 90s Hong Kong cinema and 80s Hong Kong cinema, so I'm not a massive fan of Reservoir Dogs, because I got all the good shit from that.
Yeah.
And I've got the time to watch it, and I've got the time to sit and watch a load of shit as well.
Oh,
to go,
totally.
Oh, this is all good. Everything that he's picked from, I actually prefer it as a whole. And if you haven't got time for that, go watch Reservoir Dogs.
I would much rather watch The Killer than Reservoir Dogs.
Yeah. 100%.
Or like,
hard-boiled.
Right. Yeah, totally.
Yeah.
There are so many other things that I could go rewatch instead of that.
And what's odd is that I actually would say that, like, his later stuff is when I actually started to like it a bit more. So Django Unchained was the first one that I was like, oh, this is good.
Yeah.
And everyone was like, I don't know about this one as much. And I'm like, this is good. What do you want about? Hateful Eight. Hateful Eight was really good. It was like, I think it was actually one of his better things. And then Once Upon a Time in Hollywood was something that I first watched it and I was like, I don't know if I like this. And then my dad said, like, give it a rewatch. And I was like, oh, it's a long one to give a rewatch.
That's
He went,
a
no.
long rewatch.
He was like, I had the same feeling. I watched it the first time. I didn't quite care. I went back and watched it again. It's good. I went back and rewatched it and I was like, oh, I am happily wrong. I really love this. And I love Once Upon a Time in Hollywood now. Mm-hmm. But as you would have heard and all the listeners will know, I rewatch films I disliked more.
Yeah.
Because I got to be like, wait, why didn't I like it? Why,
no, I
was
do.
I having a bad time?
I do the same thing. I'm like, things that I've held an opinion of for a long time, where I'm like, I didn't enjoy this the first time I watched it, and now it's a decade later. Or I'll do things where I did enjoy it the first time I watched it, and I go, I want to. It doesn't hold a special place in my heart, but I enjoyed it. I want to watch it now with the person that I am now, and not who I was.
Let me reevaluate.
10 years ago, 20 years ago. Let me watch it now. And I actually did that recently with Safety Last.
Okay.
I saw it when I was a film student, and I was like, okay, I hadn't, grown up into the adult that I am now. I was 17, 18 years old when I saw it, and I had barely seen silent films. So, okay, cool. It was like, oh wow, Harold Lloyd, Safety Last. All right, it's a classic. It's an icon. It's got iconic stunts and scenes and so on. And then I watch it now, and I'm like, oh, okay, yes, yeah, sure, iconic scenes, iconic stunts, but also tropes of Black Americans, tropes of Jewish immigrants and Jewish Americans, sexist tropes of women, and you're just like, all right,
yeah.
I know it's a century old, but okay, I don't enjoy this.
Yeah, and I think it is that awkward thing where you're watching something like that and you're like, I can still appreciate the stunts,
Right.
I can still appreciate what has been done, but I don't have to actually look at it in any sort of, like, I wouldn't say The Jazz Singer is a good film, but I respect that it is the first film not even the first film, the first major film with synchronized sound.
Right.
And even then it wasn't 100% synchronized. So
No.
I get it. Right.
Yeah.
I need to watch it. As a film enjoyer, I should see the first person to have done it. But, who's done it better? In my opinion, everything that, Lloyd, Keaton, and Chaplin did, I think Jackie Chan has completely blown my mind with it. And I'm like, Jackie Chan does it the best. I think he does physical comedy in a stunt-based performance better than they ever could, purely because of time and abilities and safety precautions and everything. So I respect what they've did. I enjoy seeing how it was created, but I would always rather like this version. And I think, you know, if you don't go back and reevaluate, you might just completely dismiss something as like, well, I don't like that. And it's like, yeah, but look where it came from. Look where it got you. Look who influenced them, who they influence. Just play that game, see where it goes. You might find something that you didn't realize you liked. Just go back and double check, you know.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
But, hey,
you know, it's when I was a student, I had very strong opinions against documentaries. I could not stand watching them. I hated how so many of them were staged or completely fake or a mixture, you know, and also manipulative, because at the end of the day, you're still telling a story and you still have to shape it and so on. And then largely my career has been in news and documentary and nonfiction. And I kind of fell backwards into it. And then in writing documentaries and so on, I was like, oh, okay, I get where I came from when I held those opinions, but I also now I understand this better. And yes, I'm telling a story, and yes, you are, you know, building a character in a world, but at the same time, you are telling someone's story that isn't being told, and this is how you're going to get it out there, right? Both of the documentaries that I wrote felt that way for me, where it was, okay, I want to tell this story because no one else is going to hear it if I don't. You know, or it's not so much that no one's going to hear it, but outside of the community that they're in, where everybody knows this thing or this person or so, you know.
Exactly.
But like the wider world, it doesn't know this story, and the story deserves to be told. People should know who this person is, or what this place is, or what this is all about, for varying reasons, whether to humanize or to shine a light on it, or to bring, you know, to bring importance to it. That it can be a powerful tool. But I will say that in both of the films that I worked on, that there's still a little bit of that film student in me where I go, okay, well, hold on. Yes, we're shaping a story, but I have a very strong moral line of, we'll shape the story and we'll tell it as it is, and we'll tell what we got, but I'm not manipulating anything in this script. I'm not manipulating any of the sound in the edit to make it appear as though someone has said something or done something that is completely out of context, or in a different context, so that we can kind of nudge the story in a different direction. I'm not a fan of that at all. And I've had some people ask me to do that, and I refuse to do that.
Go make a fictional thing that slightly resembles that topic then.
Yeah.
Like, don't make a documentary. And
right.
and I'm fine with highlighting something that, you know, it's like, ooh, that is quote unquote a juicier part of the story. And I know that if I want there to be an audience, you're going to have to, it's a bit like Game of Thrones. You front load it with tits and violence. And then once everyone's bought in, you bring it back. I understand. You know, it's sort of like, if you just want to give a little bit of something at the beginning, because the people that are interested are going to stay. And the people who aren't interested, it doesn't matter anymore. So once you've got that thing, it's like, are you interested? Yes. Okay, here we go. And then you can smooth it out and be like, this is, I've got you with the headline. Now we can smooth it out and give you the facts. And it's that I don't mind, providing that headline isn't like, look at this, and then something horrible and salacious, slander or libel, and then it's doesn't go anywhere. It's like, ugh, because I've seen too many documentaries that only had their headline. They didn't have the end. Right. And then they just taper into nothing, and you're like, right, you didn't have a story. You just had a pop.
I will say that I have seen that firsthand, either with the projects I've worked on or with other projects that and films that some of my colleagues have worked on, or that I've heard about firsthand, and so on. That so many people go into a documentary like, yeah, this is cool. Let's film some stuff, and let's see what we get. Right? It's a little bit different than the first one that I wrote. I actually day played on as a camera operator. I knew the director. Him and I had worked together, and he needed a few camera operators to cover certain days because there was just a lot going on. And the film was Cherries in Season, and it's a season in a life of a bar in Cherry Grove on Fire Island. And Cherry Grove is one of the famous LGBTQ communities on Fire Island. As one of the people that was interviewed for the film says, the Pines is for all of the neat, rich gays, and Cherry Grove is for the people who want to go out and party and wake up on the boardwalk the next morning. And that is a very fair assessment.
Nice.
It was a very fun time working on that and covering it. But they went into that film knowing what the arc of the film was. It was like, okay, start to finish. Okay, we start in March when everyone goes back to the island to open everything up, see what they see. Okay, what damage is there from the winter? What has to get done? Let's put everything together. All right, we know that all the employees who come and live on the island for the season are going to come, and they're all going to live together. And yeah, there might be a bit of drama and so on. Okay, cool. But now we have to. There's all these benchmarks that we knew. Okay, there's this event. There's this milestone. There's this famous thing. Like, that's the story. What we shot in between, that was we're going to see what we get. But we knew that there was an arc and that would fit. And that made total sense. So when it came time to write the film, the director asked me to work on it because he was like, look, you were there for a lot of it. You're a good writer. I want you to do this because I think you have the right idea for this. And I was like, great, cool. And in watching it, I was like, I think we need some historical context in here for the history of Fire Island, LGBTQ rights, etc. Like, we're not trying to make a documentary about the Stonewall riots, but like, let's put some context in here for people so they understand the importance, the significance, where they're coming from, why this matters even to begin with. Like, yeah, sure, Cherry Grove is a party town, but like, why? Why does it matter? And putting in that context helped.
It's the subtle mix between a Ken Burns documentary and Real Housewives.
Right. I mean, kind of, yeah.
I want to pop, but I also need some fact.
Yeah.
But I don't,
right. But like, we knew, even going in, we were like, we know what this arc is, but I've seen so many people just like, yeah, we're just going to show up and we're going to shoot some stuff. And you're like, that's not how that works. Please don't do that.
You know what you're going to get? You're going to get fuck all. That's what you're going to get.
Right. And then the one that the latest one I worked on, Keeper of the Bay, which aired on PBS Hawaii. It is about Cindy Punahalo, who is from the Big Island of Hawaii. And she grew up there and then moved to the mainland for a little while when she was younger. And then when she came back, she really made it her mission to protect a very specific bay on the west coast of Big Island that had both environmental and historical significance and importance to the community, to the culture, and so on, to the indigenous community. So she has been protecting this bay for 30 years, and there's a coral reef there, and she has fought for decades to keep it safe, to study it, to analyze it, to train the community and the youth to do the same thing. And I think what has been really important for me and in my career is to continue growing and take things away from every single thing that I work on. And with Keeper of the Bay, what I really took away from it was something that's really important to Cindy and to the Indigenous community as well, which is, we're not here to hoard as much wealth as possible. We're here to protect the land, to keep the earth safe, so that it is here for 100 years from now for the next generations. To actually do it for the kids, right? But to make sure that everything is still here. Right.
Yeah.
And over the course of the last 20, 30 years with climate change and warming oceans, and we've seen the destruction to the ocean, she has been seeing these trends there, and she was able to bring in scientists and get more money for things to really take a closer look at everything. She is known as the Keeper of the Bay, and that's where the title of the film comes from. But when I dove into this with the director, they knew where they wanted to go, but they got a lot of they just had a lot, and
yeah,
she, the director is someone who I'd worked with before, who I loved working with. I loved working with her on this, and I would gladly work with her again. And we had so many conversations of like, look, we could cut this into 5 different films. We could make this a miniseries. We could, how do we want to cut this? And ultimately I said, look, Cindy is the core of this. So we can go into the science, and we can go into the political hang-ups and the community and the history, but at the core of it is Cindy. She needs to be the through line through this. I can see where other documentary films and other documentarians can get distracted with all of the things. That's cool, and then they just lose the plot.
Yeah. Yeah. And obviously, if you've not got a strong narrative baked into your mind of how you want to tell the story, and then you've got a producer in your ear asking for a very different outcome. They want views, they want advertising, and they want money. So if they're saying shoot it like this, you've got to be like, okay, well, I want to please you, and I don't quite know how the story's going to go yet, so I'll see how we can go. Then you got a cinematographer who's trying to get in this lovely fucking golden hour shot with a dolphin, and you're like,
right,
yeah, I guess we could put that in. I think it would work. And you're pleasing too many people, and you have to have that sort of rigidity in yourself to be like, no, that's not what this is. We're not getting that. We're not doing that. Or you just go yeah. You go the old Martin Scorsese route of going yeah, of course we'll do that. Fuck off. Just turning off and just being like, I'll do what the fuck I like.
Yeah.
But it's such a fine line. And I started my career doing behind the scenes for films, and it was so liberating knowing that it's well, all I have to do is capture you guys making a film. I don't have to manufacture drama because there either is or isn't on a film set. Right. And for your sake, I hope there isn't. For my sake, I hope there's a little bit. But for your sake, I hope there isn't. So, it's very easy to be like, all right, you're setting up a shot? Cool. Right, get that. Actor doing some rehearsals? Cool. Get that. And it as a, I would suggest if anyone wants to get into the film industry, do that. Because then you get to see everyone. You get to see parts of everything. And doing a documentary in that sort of sense, they are fun.
They are.
I would say documentaries are more fun to make than narratives.
Absolutely. They 100% are. I think that's why I've had the career that I've had so far, because it genuinely is just fun. I've done the film set life. I worked in Grip and Electric, on non-union sets for a few years, and after a few years, I looked in the mirror and went, I don't want to do this anymore. I'm good at this, but I don't want to do this anymore. And it's a lifestyle that works for some people, but it didn't for me.
Yeah, I remember the first film set I was on, I was talking to the Grip, and they were so miserable. And I got really oh, mate, this is the dream factory, this, you shouldn't be. And then after a while, I was like, oh, no, I get it. This isn't fun. This isn't what you thought it was going to be.
Yeah.
This is very much micromanaged, sort of getting it done to a time schedule. This isn't fun creativity, and it was like, yeah, I could see how that would drive you mad. But,
yeah.
But
Yeah,
hey.
I get that.
Watch this segue. It is very interesting having that sort of history of being not interested in documentary, then falling into the documentary. You obviously did your film studies class at Drexel, and your course, and there was clearly an interest in film from an early age. And I'm wondering if that was stemmed from the first time you ever went to a cinema or a theatre. So what was the first film you saw at the theatre?
So this one is a funny one. I've spoken to my mom about this a bunch for years. So she claims she took my brother and I to see both of the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles movies in theaters. I have no memory of that at all, because that mean I would have been around 2 for the first one, 3 for the second one. I don't really remember seeing them. She said the same thing for Batman Returns, which I don't blame any parent for that, because I don't think anyone was expecting Batman Returns to be what it was. So every parent gets a pass for that one. But I don't remember seeing those. Genuinely, the first film I remember seeing, I remember I must have been in preschool. My brother is a few years older than me, so he was probably in second grade, whatever. So he was in school, and either I didn't have school or I ended early or whatever. My mom took me to the local theater, local cinema, to see a re-release of Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs.
Oh,
so that is the first thing I remember seeing in a theater.
Interesting.
Which some people are like, oh, that's boring. But like, imagine being 3-4 years old, and that's the first thing you remember on a big screen. Like that's a pretty cool memory.
Old Disney films are technically wonderfully made. Like,
they really are. I mean,
so even if you're not interested in like the stories, like they are beautiful to look at.
I think still to this day in like the top animation, college programs throughout the United States, I know that a lot of them still teach like, oh yeah, Pinocchio is some of the most beautiful animation you will ever see. Because like Snow White is also gorgeous, but everything was new. And by the time they got to Pinocchio, they kind of perfected it. They're like, it's okay, we got our process. Don't worry, we're going to make something so beautiful that it will hold up for 100 years. Whether or not the story does is a different conversation.
Sure.
Yeah. But yeah, that's
You seem
the first
quite
one.
old to want your own boy there, Geppetto. Seems a bit odd, a bit weird.
Yeah, little bit. And of
Nose
course,
gets bigger, does it? All right.
I forget. Oh, I can't. I can't even remember if it's a meme or if it was in a some kind of some kind of more adult animated series. But I remember there being something about like someone sitting on Pinocchio's face and asking him to lie to them.
Family Guy.
Is it Family Guy? Okay.
Yeah.
I was just like, oh, that's okay.
I mean, it seems.
Yeah, and like, look, I understand the original story of Pinocchio and like why it's important to Italy and to Italian culture and history, and it was an allegory for the unification of Italy and blah blah blah. Blah. Yeah, I got it. Cool. In pop culture, it's a little weird.
Surface level, which is how a lot of us are going to take it.
Yep.
Very odd.
Very odd. Yeah.
But that is nice. I do like, and you're saying that your brother is a bit older. So
yeah.
When you were you saying like 2 years, year and a half?
He's 3 years older than me. Yeah.
Okay, so about the same as my brother. He's about 2.5 years for half the year.
Yeah.
And it's a similar thing where I would say that there is an age gap where up until a certain point everything's fair game, but then after
Yeah.
13 to sort of 10, 11, it becomes hard to sort of like split the cinema trips. So
Yeah.
when you were younger, was there a lot of family trips?
Yeah, I will say, you know, it wasn't until I was kind of halfway through high school that I even had a thought about ever getting a degree in film, wanting to work in film, etc. But movies and films were always such a big part of my family, whether it was with my brother or with my parents. Growing up, I lived with my nana, my mom's mom, and my great aunt, which was my nana's sister. I had kind of a weird film upbringing in that I watched a lot of the new stuff. Like, yeah, I grew up watching all the 80s classics. I grew up with Ninja Turtles and the newer what was then the newer Batman films.
Yeah.
But I also grew up watching like Abbott and Costello and
Yeah.
and watching, like by the time I was 10, like, yeah, I knew who Jimmy Cagney was, James Stewart, like I could, John Payne, like I could go through like all the classic film stars, and then I could go to school and they'd be like, "What the hell are you talking about?" So like it was an odd upbringing, but like we definitely took a lot of family trips to the movies, because my parents just liked going to the theater. And I think part of it too was their upbringing and the time that they grew up in, because they kind of came of age in the 70s when film was weird and was taking a lot of chances. So like I remember one of my favorite stories that my dad has from when he was growing up was the summer that American Graffiti came out. He said after he saw it the first time, he went to see it every day until he went back to until summer vacation was over and went back to school. He's like, I saw it, I fell in love with that movie, and I went to see it in the theater every single day. And I was like, God. And like even in the even growing up in the 90s, I couldn't imagine doing that. Like I couldn't imagine going to the movie theater every single day. So like just even knowing, like growing up with this idea that film like held such importance to my parents, to the adults around me, I think just kind of really ingrained it in my brain early without even really thinking about it.
That's good though.
Yeah.
It's so weird that like God, I've completely lost what I was going to say. Completely lost what I was going to say. What did you just say?
About going to the movie theater?
Going to the cinema every day.
Yeah, right.
You're right. Like I think the most I've ever seen one specific film on an initial release. Like I've seen, I don't know, maybe I've seen Akira 2 or 3 times at the cinema, but over the last 20 years, like I think I've seen. It was Edge of Tomorrow, Live, Die, Repeat.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
I saw that 3 times at the cinema.
Okay.
And it was one of those ones where I was like, oh, this is great fun. And then I had to take a friend and be like, oh, you've got to come see this. It's a good, fun film. And then you got to go see this. It's a good, fun film.
Yeah.
But that was 3 times. And bear in mind, 2 of those times was like journalist screenings. So the first one was on my own as a journalist. The second one was like, oh, I got the multimedia screening. Right, I'll bring a friend. And then when it came out, I think I took a partner at the time.
Okay.
But even that felt like such an obscure luxury of just like, I'm going to go to the cinema 3 times to see the same film.
Yeah.
Like, and it like in such a short period of time. So to go every day.
Yeah,
it's like, oh, that sounds crazy.
Yeah, it really was. And like, I think I think the movie I saw in theaters the most was probably Revenge of the Sith, because by that point, like I was a junior in high school, and like at that point, it kind of seemed like, oh, this is going to be the last Star Wars film ever. Like they're not going to make more after this. They're not going to make sequels to the original trilogy. All those actors are too old. Okay, fine, cool. He did the prequel trilogy. This is it. He's not making more after this. I went to a midnight screening. I skipped school to see it again in the same 24 hours. Like, I probably saw it 6 or 7 times in theaters because it was like, okay, I saw the midnight screening. I want to go see it again. Then my dad wanted to see it. Then my brother wanted to see it because my brother was in college at that point. So like him and I didn't get to go see it together. So then me and him did get to go see it together. Then my friends wanted to go see it. And every time I was just like, yeah, okay. And I think after that, it would probably be like Return of the King. Because that was another one at the time that everyone was like, oh my God, I have to see it. So it was like different friends in different groups. And, like I saw it with my dad. I saw it with my brother. I saw it with these friends. I saw it with those friends. I saw it with my girlfriend. It's just, okay, fine, cool. It was probably like 4 or 5 times. But even, again, like, that's not every day. That's like, that felt like a luxury even then, where it was like, I had a job in high school, but like, oof, I'm spending how much of my paycheck on movie theater tickets? And that was then.
And for the same film. Yeah, when it was like not even $10.
Not even $10. Now it's like, I'm sorry, it costs how much for 2 people to go to a movie theater now?
Well,
and okay, cool.
They've got those. Do you guys have? We have. So Cineworld and Odeon are our 2 main chains, and you can get a membership card, and for $16 a month, you can go and see as many films as you like.
Yeah, they have. I think Regal, which is one of the chains in the U.S., I think has some kind of movie pass like that. I have a few friends who do that. I don't get to go to the movie theater all that often anymore because I have a toddler. So I'm in the phase of parenthood where I don't get to go to the movie theater. That phase will hopefully come to an end soon. Because
the toddler will have gone out and got a job and started contributing
totally
to society.
Yeah. No, because he'll be old enough that I can take him. I will say, when I was a very, very new parent and I didn't know what to do with a 4-month-old in the middle of the day when it was just me and him, I may or may not have taken him to a screening of E.T.
Okay.
and he was. It was like right around the time he could hold his head up, and he was engaged and watched it.
Got a little Spielberg fan going on here.
Little bit. I was like, hey, cool. And he's got all his little golden books, and he has one of E.T. and he loves reading it. And I'm like, I may or may not have been part of that.
Good luck, kid. That's nice. That is nice. I feel like that's the one thing, because I don't have kids, and unless something unfortunate happens, I probably won't have any. That's the one thing that I'm sort of a bit like, I think if I did have them, I'd like to take them to the movies, and I'd like to introduce them to movies. Yeah. But to me, that's not worth it.
Yeah, no, that's definitely not. I will say, as a parent, don't let that be the reason that you have kids. I love being a parent. I love being a dad. He's the best thing to happen to my wife and I. It's exhausting, but it's amazing. But yeah, that's not a strong enough reason to don't do that. Not a strong enough reason. But I will say, it's a really fun perk.
Yes, it's one of the good ones to have, but not worth it. No. I've heard from some people that they watched a lot of foreign films in the period of time that you are currently in with the toddler because they couldn't watch it with sound. So if they were watching something with subs, they were like, oh, just put that on. I've never seen it. I might as well. Yes.
I didn't think of that. Okay. I might have to try that. I'm going to do that.
There you go.
Fair enough.
So,
yes.
Talking of kids,
yes,
we can move into the next question, which was, what did you watch over and over again as a kid?
Yeah, so for this one, it kind of depends on like the era that we're talking about. If we're talking about like when I was like a toddler, it probably would be The Wizard of Oz. I watched a lot as a toddler. I think I drove my mom crazy because my rotation. I can't even remember what the third one was now. She would be so mad at me. But the first, Wizard of Oz. And then when I say Peter Pan, I don't mean the Disney one. I mean, there was I think it might have been a PBS recording of the musical with Mary Martin, or was it Kathy Rigby?
Oh.
Yeah. And I would watch those two on repeat, which when I got to high school and became a theater kid, made sense, but for a toddler was weird. When I got a bit older, I would probably say, when we're talking like 5 to 12.
Yeah.
Probably The Empire Strikes Back. I was just
Okay.
like on repeat. That and Young Frankenstein I just watched on repeat.
So, was there a Star Wars fan in the house? Because if Empire only got the re-release in like '99,
My both my parents are big Star Wars fans.
oh,
And I remember, so the original trilogy got re-released here in the US in 95 before the special edition was re-released in 97.
oh, really?
Yeah, so like it was out in theaters here, and my parents took my brother and I to see it, and we were like, "This is the best thing ever." And we also had we had the original trilogy on VHS, so like we wore those tapes out, and then the special edition came out, so then we saw those, and then of course then the prequel started, and so on. It's funny so my parents separated when I was 12.
Okay.
My math is always bad. It's kind of a blur in time, but I was about 12. So that was like 2001, something like that. But it was also around the time that DVD players became more accessible and not stupidly expensive.
Yes.
And around that time, it was I'm hitting puberty. I'm in middle school. I'm awkward. I now have no friends. Like, it was just this weird time. And I remember coming home one day, and my mom got a DVD player, and she got Spider-Man and she got Fellowship of the Ring. Ooh. So like those are my first two DVDs, and it was just like I would watch those all the time. And then about a year later, Attack of the Clones came out, so then like that was like a one that I added. So it was like I would watch those constantly, and it was I always thought it was funny because by that point the Phantom Menace was on home video and we had it on tape, and I'd watch Phantom Menace and be like, this looks like shit, I'm gonna watch Attack of the Clones, and I'd watch the DVD and be like, this looks better, and now I'm like, Attack of the Clones is not exactly the best movie of all time.
No.
I love.
I was going to say it's the worst of the prequels, but it's like
definitely the worst of the prequels.
Revenge of the Sith is the only good of the prequels.
So I will say that as I get older, I especially now I really appreciate Phantom Menace. There are things in it that I think that didn't work, but I very much appreciate now that Lucas came into the prequels and was like, I'm not going to make the same 3 movies that we made before. I'm going to do something completely different, and it's going to work for some people, and it's not going to work for some people. I will also say, as someone who is a student of film and works in the industry and also shoots film still photography when I can afford to, I appreciate that Phantom Menace is shot on film.
That's a good point.
It looks a whole lot. It looks of the 3, it looks the best.
It does look the best.
It looks the best.
That is true.
Attack of the Clones looks like it was made with plastic dolls.
It's like that era of CGI where everything was bendy. I cannot stand it. I cannot.
And also, look, Attack of the Clones is important to the development of digital cinema technology. I think it is forgotten, and like I think there are a lot of things that are forgotten as to their importance and significance to digital film technology, and how important Lucas is to that. Love him, hate him, whatever. But it not only yes, the CGI was bad, but yes, it was one of the first films to be like almost entirely shot on blue screen and blah 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 blah. But also, it was one of the first, if not the first, if my history is correct, big budget Hollywood films to be shot on a digital cinema camera. It was before digital cinema cameras were really up to par, but he went around and he went to Sony, he went to Panavision, he went to all the places and was like, I want to shoot this digitally. I need
what can you give me?
I need y'all to do this. What do you need and how do we do it? And like the I forget the model of the camera, but ultimately it really was more akin to like what we would now consider like a news camera or an ENG camera. But like that's essentially what they shot it on. And they were like, well, these only do 60. And he was like, great, make it do 24. And they were like, okay.
That's not how it works.
And he was like, yeah, that's nice. Do it anyway.
Yeah. That sounds like a you problem, right?
Right. And then when the reason why Revenge of the Sith doesn't look as bad is because the technology started to catch up, and by that point, like more films are being shot digitally by that point. So the technology was exponentially getting better. Anyway, I've kind of gone off the rails here on a rant, but it's to segue into something slightly more interesting and less nerdy. Is I've been listening to the audiobook of Roger Deakins' new book.
My dad bought me that for Christmas. Well, pre-ordered it for Christmas, so I should be getting it whenever it comes out. But
it is very, very good. It's very enjoyable. My little parenting hack is when my brain is always exhausted at the end of the day. So like reading, it's like I read half a page and I fall asleep. I'm like, this sucks. I used to read 50 books a year, and now I'm like, I can get through one if I'm lucky. But audiobooks are great because I can put on an audiobook and I can do the dishes, I can clean, I can fold laundry, whatever. But I like that he's the one reading the book. I always like when the author is the one who reads it. And especially with this one where it's like him talking about his career. But something that I learned that I didn't know is that Oh Brother, Where Art Thou was the first film to use a digital intermediary for the entire film. Because the Coen brothers went to they've worked with him multiple times, but they went to Roger Deakins and they said, like, this is what we want the color palette to be. Make it work. And he was like, sure. And then full on panicked and was like, there's no way to make that. Like, you can't do that.
No.
He was like, they shot test after test after test. And he was like, all of this looks like shit. There's no way to get what they want. How do we make this work? And digital intermediaries, which now are very common. And it's like you can put DaVinci Resolve on your computer right now. So whatever. But at that point in, 99, 2000, it was like, it was very new, and not every, people were using it for certain things, but never for a whole film. And he said what was the most nerve-wracking thing is, like, at that point, the way that they would do it is they would take the negative, put it in, do what they had to do, and then reprint it. But that was it. There was no backup. So if it broke on the way back out when they were, like, printing what they did, it was gone. I was like, oh my God, I would throw up if I was thank you for your service to the cinema industry, sir, but oh my God, that makes me want to vomit.
No chance. I would not do
that. But yeah, like I had no idea that was the first. It was the first one that used a digital intermediary for the entirety of the film, and it was just to achieve that color palette, to achieve that look, right? Yeah. Because there was no way, and I think still to this day, there is no way to do what they did on that in camera, even with digital technology. Like, there's no way to do it in camera. It all has to be done in post with a colorist.
Bloody hell!
Yeah.
Jesus Christ! I mean, he is good.
I mean, yeah, he's
one of
the best.
He's
one of the best living cinematographers. I get. It's fine.
Whenever people sort of like. When I was hiring some cinematographer for something, and I was like, "Who's your guy?" A lot of people would say Roger Deakins. I'm like, you're not wrong.
Yeah,
but give me another answer.
Someone else. Okay, well here I'll throw out somebody for you whose work I really, really love, and I think he gets forgotten about a lot, is Seamus McGarvey.
Seamus McGarvey, who did.
He shot Atonement.
Oh, yeah.
So that means, yes, that's right. He did the Dunkirk Steadicam shot. That is like one of the most beautiful scenes like ever in cinema.
There's a cool crispness to everything that he's shooting, where it's I can almost feel how warm it is.
Yep.
Or how cool it is.
Or how cool it is. Like,
yeah, I can just feel the temperature in that shot. And it's so... it's such a combination of miserable and a lovely memory.
Yeah.
It's such madness.
Yes, I completely agree. And honestly, I bring him up, and people kind of have the same reaction where they're like, "Wait, he did." I'm like, "Exactly. He is not thought of as like one of like the best." People talk about, they bring up Robert Richardson, and you're like, "Yeah, sure, Richardson's great." Who am I to say no? He's not. Of course, he's amazing. But
Sure.
like people forget about Seamus McGarvey, and I will say that I have very much the same feeling that you do, and I think a film in the last year that kind of gave me that same feeling was Sinners. Everything that had to feel warm felt warm. Everything that every single frame of that film made me feel the way that it needed to, and that like the way it was shot, it was just like, oh, this is just like a warm hug from a movie, despite how awful certain scenes are. It still was just like, I love this so much. Yeah, I may, if it doesn't win the Oscar for Best Cinematography, I may riot in the streets. I'll probably be by myself, but that's okay.
I don't think you'll be by yourself. I think a lot of people are shouting for that film to win all 16.
I mean, that's fair. I get, yeah.
Is Michael B. Jordan up for 2?
Yeah, you would
As
think,
both
right?
characters,
You're like, does he? He did both.
Michael A. Jordan, Michael B. Jordan.
It's just like in Parks and Rec when Tom has dating profiles and the middle initial is different in all of them. Cool.
Maybe
What
that's how we.
what was the middle? N. N was the middle initial for the dating profile that he matches with Leslie. N for nerd. Awesome.
I can't wait for Michael N. Jordan.
There you go. Yeah, great.
That'll be a good one.
Nerdy Michael B. Jordan. I want to see that.
What's the closest we would have got for nerdy Michael B. Jordan? Nothing.
Nothing in anything that he's done.
I don't think. I don't think he can do nerdy, can he?
No.
Because he's so charismatic and so sort of handsome. It's very hard for you to justifiably believe that he'd be, and he can have, nerdy influences and he can enjoy things that are considered nerdy, but he would not be a nerdy man.
No. He's great.
He's good stuff. He is good stuff.
Yeah.
Anyway. So what was the first X-rated film you saw and how old were you?
Okay. I'm sorry, Mom and Dad. I'm not trying to throw y'all under the bus, but
It was a different time.
It was a different time. The first R-rated movie I saw was Braveheart. At home, not in the theater, at home. And all the things that either my parents didn't want us to see, they'd either be like, look away, or any nudity.
100%.
My mom would be like, hello, and my dad would be like, oh, and he'd run up to the screen and cover people's body parts.
Don't be looking at that.
Don't look at that.
It's so weird how that used to be the norm. Mum and Dad, I don't think they gave a shit about themes.
No, or
that.
understanding that implied violence is kind of worse.
Nope, that's fine.
My imagination is way worse than whatever's on camera.
Exactly. But nudity, you just feel awkward and be like, well, I'm not going to look at that.
Are you kidding me? I remember seeing, I went to the theater to see Titanic, and they'd all, in the famous scene, they'd all be like, look away, and I'm like, I'm too awkward to even want to look. What are you talking about? I'm not even 10, guys. What?
But yeah, that is it's so weird. I remember we watched Terminator 2 as kids, and it was the same. When Arnie was cutting his arm off, Mum and Dad just went, Mum just went, look away, boys. Yeah. And that was it. That's... And now, I can't imagine... A friend of mine said that he was going to show his kid Alien. And I was like, oh, that's a bit much, isn't it?
Don't do that.
and he was just like, kids aren't affected the same way we were. And I was like, I don't know, man.
It's funny. It's really having a kid now, and we think about what are we going to show him? What are we not going to show him? I remember because my son is a big Sesame Street fan, which for me is wonderful because my brother and I were big Sesame Street kids.
Lovely.
And when we were kids, there was a Christmas special actually there were 2 Christmas specials that we watched a lot. One was Muppet Family Christmas, which is where like all the Muppet characters come together. My son loves that. It's like you have Muppets, you have Fraggles, you have Sesame Street, like they're all together. It's great. My son this past holiday season asked to see that every single day. Awesome. Fine. The other one that we watched a lot was Christmas Eve on Sesame Street, which was from the late 70s, I want to say. So like even when we were kids, we were like, oh, this feels dated. But we watched it. Every holiday season we watched it. At the beginning of it, there's like they're all the characters they're all ice skating together. Which it's funny seeing it then, like now they'd figure out like how do we make it look like the Muppet is ice skating? Then it's just like a dude in a giant suit that you're like, oh, why is Elmo that big?
Yeah.
Or like why is the Count that big? Like
that's not how big you guys are.
Yeah. But the scene ends with they're like spinning around, or like they're like all holding hands, and like they're all ice skating together and just getting faster and faster. And someone grabs onto Oscar's like the handle on Oscar's trash can, and they accidentally let go, and he flies off the ice through a wall and down multiple flights of stairs. Now, when I think of films that I'm like, oh, I don't want to show my kids this, it's violent, etc., that's not one that I thought of. But I showed that to my son, and, he's almost 2. He got so upset. He got so upset and was just like, nope, I don't want this. And he insisted that we turn it off. Like, he did not want to watch it.
I want to see Oscar get hurt.
I was like, oh, okay, cool. Yeah, he's like, I like Oscar. I don't want Oscar to get, like, what? He was so upset. And I was like, all right, cool. So when I think about my parents showing me, like, Braveheart when I was, like, 7, I'm like, okay. I won't be doing that with my son.
Are you sure, Mum? Are you sure?
Sure.
But
right.
Like I said, before you even said anything, I was like, it's a different time. Like, Mum and Dad just...
Yeah.
There was things... I knew there was films we were never allowed to watch, which The Exorcist.
Yeah,
no. Which is funny, because as an adult, when I watched The Exorcist, it's not that bad.
No.
I've seen so much worse.
I mean, I will also say, though, that, like, when we were kids, it was still pretty fresh, and there wasn't really anything that, like, outdid it at that point. And now you're like, okay, I've seen Ringu. It's Exorcist isn't that scary.
And over here, The Exorcist was banned until... I think it was banned until about, like, 2000 and something, or, like, late 90s. So it kind of had a bit of a resurgence in like when I was sort of 9 or 10 or whatever. If I was 9 or 10, it must have been like I was 88. What year were you born?
88. Yeah.
There we go.
Yeah.
And it had a bit of a resurgence, so it kind of started doing the rounds again. And that was like my parents were like, "Don't watch it," and I'm like, "Whoa,
okay,
why are you saying it like that?" Now I wanna.
See, it's funny. It was the same thing. Like, wasn't allowed to watch that. Wasn't allowed to watch The Omen. My family.
Yeah, Omen was the other one.
Yeah, they were never horror people. Like, we watched some Hitchcock movies, but like certain ones that they're like, The Birds is weird. I'm like, The Birds is great. What are you talking about? But like, we didn't watch The Birds. We didn't watch Psycho. Like, we weren't allowed to watch any of those movies. So I had never seen them. Even in high school, like I wasn't like, I'm gonna go see them. I just watched the newer horror movies.
Yes.
And I didn't go back and watch any of the old stuff. So when I was in college, and I was catching up to things that I never got to see, that I'm convinced some of the people who were like, yeah, I've seen Seven Samurai. I'm like, what the fuck is Seven Samurai? Who's Akira Kurosawa? Like, I don't know I don't know these names. Like, what? Of course I know them now, but like, I wouldn't expect a 13-year-old to just be like, yeah, seen that. I've seen that so many times. Like, what are you talking about?
I love 3 hours of black and white samurai film.
What?
I love it.
Okay. So, but like,
no intermission? Give it to me.
But like, I took a horror film class, and we watched The Omen, we watched The Exorcist, and so many people were like, I've seen it, and I'm like, I've never seen this. I don't like. Sorry, like I didn't see Texas Chainsaw Massacre growing up. Like I didn't see any of those movies, and they hit completely differently when I was 20, 21 years old than it would have hit me if I was 10 years younger and seeing it for the first time. Yeah.
We had a similar thing. Like, my family weren't horror people, so growing up, don't watch The Exorcist. The Omen is terrifying. So horror films just weren't in our household at all. And it was a similar thing. I became just naturally quite a scaredy cat. Like,
Yeah.
I couldn't watch spooky films for quite
Yeah.
a long time. And then I could slowly, when I was sort of like 16, 17, I would start watching Halloween. I'd sort of like Texas Chainsaw. And I started to watch like slashers, but not horrors, if that makes
Yeah.
sense. And I quite liked a slasher. And then through that, I sort of went into the John Carpenter route and saw some slightly spookier stuff, but still not horror.
Yeah.
And it wasn't until I got to about 10 years ago that I actually was like, let's give some horror a proper go. And I realized I hadn't seen The Exorcist. I hadn't seen The Exorcist until I was about 30.
Oh, wow. Okay.
You know? So I thought, I'm going to read it. I'm going to read it first, and then I'm going to watch it. I'm going to do it the correct way.
Right.
I read the book. Book was fucking spectacular. Chef's kiss for that book. Then I watched the film, and the film was a bit of a letdown because the book was so good.
The book is so good,
and I was like,
yeah.
why is everyone losing their shit over this film? This film's not even... It's got some good bits in it, and there's some great performances, and it's all fun. And the prosthetics that were on, like... I wouldn't have thought that Max von Sydow was that old. Like, apparently he was only in his 40s. What was the first film you watched that you considered grown up?
So this one was tricky because, like, I mean, everyone has their own interpretation of like what does grown up mean, what feels grown up, and you know how will other people kind of see it that way too. And like I said earlier, like I, you know, at a young age was watching a lot of older movies and things that even then were considered old that now feel ancient. So I have two. The second one is a backup because the first one people may not agree with, but I think the first thing that I remember watching going like, oh, this isn't just some silly comedy. This is like about adult, like things that adults get and understand that this is an important thing. And I would say Mr. Smith Goes to Washington.
Interesting.
I mean, obviously, you know, I saw Braveheart and that was a you know, adult thing, but it didn't feel like, oh, this is a grown-up movie. It's just like, oh, this is a thing, and I can't see certain things, whatever, fine. But something that felt like, oh, like this specifically is very much an adult thing, even though it doesn't feel as heavy as something like Braveheart. It's still like there are a lot of there's a lot of social context and politics and so on to kind of understand it. I'd say my backup sounds ridiculous, but when you think about it, is so grown up. The Dirty Dozen.
Okay.
And like I had
Talking
that
about
thought.
Seven Samurai.
Yeah, right. But like in thinking about it, you're like, that movie opens with not just someone being hanged. It someone who is openly pleading for his life, and then has a bag put over his head where he continues to plead for his life, and then he's hanged. And in a lot of movies, even now, where someone is being hanged in the film, you don't actually see the body.
No.
It's just you see them drop, you hear it, you see the thing tighten, and
feet,
right.
And that's it.
No, in that one, it like once when he's hanged, like the trap door opens, and then there's a shot from underneath looking up, and you see the body drop, and you're just like, oh my god. Yeah. And I was probably like 7 or 8 when I saw that. And I was like, what the fuck just happened?
Yeah.
Like, and that's the intro into it. And then you're like, all right. And then like, not only like just the whole plot of like, okay, so we're going to get a group together, and then we're going to go behind enemy lines, and then we're going to sneak into this chateau, and we're just going to kill people, which like, yes, cool, they're Nazis. Okay. War. Got it. But like,
sure.
It's not like, oh, it's a strategic thing. We have to take out this tower, or we have to stop these fortifications, or stop this factory. It's like, nope, the goal is literally to go in and kill as many people as possible. All right, cool. But on top of that, it's like, oh, also, the group you're taking is all of these guys in military jail who did some heinous shit. And you're like, okay, when you talk to all of them, they all pretty much are justifying like why they murdered somebody. And you're like, all right. And then also then you have to understand like, okay, so Jim Brown is in this, and he's talking about how he did it in self-defense because these two crackers were trying to kill him and castrate him, and he defended him. And then you're like, oh my god! And then you go to Telly Savalas, who is basically the kind of person who tried to kill Jim Brown, and he's going off on like a sexist rant, and you're like, what is happening? And like you're like, as a kid, you're like, what? Sorry, someone explain this to me. I'm not getting this.
Too much,
right?
Too much for me as a kid.
Right? Yeah. And I remember asking my brother, like, can you explain this to me? And even he was like, no.
So I think they're the good guys.
And we're like, all right, cool. And then as I got older and watched it again, I'm like, got it. This is why as a kid, I knew there were things I weren't getting. And now I get it. And it's a lot of layers of fucked up.
And that's like, it is the themes that you just didn't get as a kid, where you're like, oh, because Braveheart right. is, it's action, there's a bit of romance.
Yep.
You can be a 12-year-old watching it and you're just seeing a swords film, you know?
Right.
It doesn't really matter about whatever. But things like Mr. Smith Goes to Washington or Dirty Dozen, there is a sense of like, you're dealing here with themes that as a kid I would not have understood. And Dirty Dozen is a bit of an exception because there are explosions.
Right. You can get away with like the action and the funny bits. Like we were able to like watch it and you can get some of the surface level stuff, but like the surface level on that movie is this. You know, it's like, okay, cool. Good, you know, Americans, good guys, Nazis, bad guys, Nazis get killed. Shucks. Okay. All right. Movie's over.
I'm in.
Cool. All right. Like, all right, got it. Yeah. Propaganda. Cool.
And then someone doesn't say like, oh, you also know that the Nazi soldiers, they were just kids too.
Yeah.
And they were being told a pack of lies and they thought they were fighting for their freedoms. And you're like, hold on.
Hold on a second. What? Okay.
But the SS were bad. The SS were bad.
The SS were bad.
Okay.
Okay. All right. I think in one of the like smartest little tidbits put into a war film that I go back and forth whether or not I'm angry about them not putting the subtitles on it is in Saving Private Ryan. And during the opening D-Day scene, like toward the end of it, when it's like, all right, the Allies have control of the situation. All right, like they're winning, great, whatever, cool. But there are two U.S. soldiers walking towards two German soldiers, and they have their hands up and they're yelling at them in what they think is German. And then the U.S. soldiers just shoot them, and then they make a joke about like, oh, what do you say? Look, I watched for supper, blah blah blah. But in actuality, they were Czech prisoners. They weren't speaking German, and they were trying to tell them, I'm not German. I'm from Czechoslovakia. Like I'm Czech. I was forced
I'm one
into
of you guys.
I was forced into this. Please don't kill me. I do not want to do this. And then they, and it's like, oh my God. I think leaving that as something that like isn't on the surface because it's not the story. Brilliant piece of like little thing that like probably happened a lot during that war.
Lot, yeah.
But also at the same time, I almost wish that it what like that subtitle was in there so that you could understand. But then at the same time, it raises issues. Then
I think that's the thing. I like that about all subtitles, in that if there is subtitles in an English-speaking film, if they're there, you, the audience, are meant to know what's being said.
Right.
If they're not, you, the audience, are not meant to know what's being said.
Right.
And I like that when they put on a film, like I put something on and they're like, some Spanish guys are speaking and our guy doesn't speak Spanish, so we're not meant to know what they're saying.
Right.
And I hit in the same sort of boat where I'm like, oh, but I'd like to know.
Right.
I'd like to know what,
yeah.
Yeah, like what are they saying?
Yep.
And is this going to be a mistaken like understanding and all that kind of stuff? But then I'm also like the intrigue of like, oh, but I'm not meant to know. Mm-hmm. Oh, I like that. Yeah. So when it comes to that Czech thing, I'm the exact same. I'm just like, well, for a humanist part,
right.
I want to know.
I want to know.
I want to know. But also from a narrative part, it's like, no, the reason they got shot was not because they were anything other than non-English speakers.
Yeah.
That's it.
Right. No, you're 100% right.
But I mean, that war, like...
Look, I will say that I was lucky in that when I was in high school, the way that like the way that they broke down history, in the American education system is you have American history, you have world history. That's it. Like those are the two things, and that's how you learn it. And when I was in high school, first 2 years was world history, and I'm glad I got that first, especially because those teachers strongly encouraged all of us and me to look for sources and books to read and take in outside of what was being given to us. So by the time that I got to being taught U.S. history that they wanted us to learn, I was consistently getting sent to the principal's office or to my guidance counselor for asking too many questions, for pissing off the teacher, because I was always the one to be like, hold on, are you sure about that?
That sounds like something the winner would say.
I mean, let me put it this way. I remember the first day of school, walking into that class, and they said, okay, here's everything you need to know that happened in the United States before the Constitution. Like the writing of the Constitution was the first thing that they started with. They're like, everything you need to know before that. The American Revolution happened. We won. Okay, the U.S. Constitution. And I was like, what?
Just going to gloss over that.
You gloss over, not even just that, but like you're going to gloss over like everything that happened in the 300 years before that? What?
So what happened?
Like what?
Why was there a Revolutionary War?
What about the 7 Years' War? What about colonization? What about the indigenous people that the colonists, the British, the Dutch, the French, like everyone, the Germans, like everyone just came in and was like, "Oh, you're here? We're going to kill you." What? We're just going to ignore that?
we are.
And we are. And I was like, "Oh,
forever.
Oh, got it. Cool.
Well,
cool.
it's an interesting. So my family, I look white as fuck, but my mum's side of the family are Indian. So yeah, I don't look it at all, but like my mum looks Indian, and it's very interesting whenever we hear about sort of colonial sort of India and sort of learning all about that stuff, and then when I speak to friends who are from India and they say sort of like, well,
yeah,
and like some of them are like, I will say this, the English put in some good things, but we didn't ask for it. Yeah. So I appreciate that they did the good stuff, but there wasn't that. Yeah. And it's like, oh, okay. Yeah. And then when you speak to some Indian guys about like Gandhi, they're like, he's a fucking piece of shit, Gandhi. I don't know why you guys love him. And I'm just like, oh, yeah, go on, give me the goss.
Yeah.
And it's so interesting. Like, it's so easy to paint this picture of what is the good, right? Well, we come off as the good guys if you tell it that way. So let's tell it that way.
Right.
And you're just like, ooh, but how about a bit like a documentary? Just give me the unbiased story.
Right.
I don't care who the winners or the losers are.
But I
don't want to care. I just want to know. I want to know who did what and whose names got changed.
Right.
Like,
right.
I don't care if we come off as the bad guys because it's history. We didn't do it. Right. They did it.
But I want to know.
But I need to know.
I need to know so that I know how to interact and how also to move forward. So when we want to address issues or how do we make things better? Because at my core, I want to make things like my goal is make things better for the generations that are here and then 100 years from now, right? Like just like Cindy, right? Like
also, I just want everyone who's currentently here to just have a nice time. Let them fucking live. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Like it's actually I think so. One of my favorite people in the world is my friend Tish, who I met in college. He's from Mumbai. he lived after college. He lived in New York for a bit, and then he went back to Mumbai. And for years, he was like, "When are you going to come? When are you going to come visit? When are you going to come visit? When are you going to come visit?" And then finally, in like 2015, I had wrapped up a stint at NBC News and realized, like, I'm exhausted. I've just been working myself to death since I turned 18. Like, I haven't gone on vacation ever as an adult. Like, I need to do that. So I told him, like, this is it. This is the year I'm coming. So my first time outside of North America was going to India. So that was like a culture shock that punched me in the head the second I stepped off the plane.
And the nose.
Yeah, it was, I mean, I didn't want to leave. I loved it so much, but it was very much like you said, it was hilarious to me. All the things that I'm like, wait a minute. So this, and he's like, yeah. I'm like, but what about, he's like, yeah. And you're like, all right, cool. And then, like, I think my favorite thing that he showed me was, he was like, so you see that shitty building that's falling apart? I was like, yeah, why? Like, it looks like the wind is going to knock it down. He's like, yeah, that was the hotel that the British built. That was the whites only hotel that after they left, we insisted on not ever improving it. And we just let it be what it is. And now it's like a shitty building. See that over there? I'm like, yeah, that is gorgeous. What is that? He's like, oh, that's the Taj Mahal Hotel. After they made the hotel that was whites only, we said, well, we need a hotel. So we built one, and we built that.
Taj.
Like, okay.
Taj Bengal hotels are delightful.
I was like, oh, got it. Cool. All right, let's set the bar. Got it. Thank you.
Yeah. They're nice hotels. I've stayed in one in Calcutta.
Yeah. Nice. Lovely. Yeah, I was oh wow. It's just funny, and like that kind of furthered my, okay, what is the actual history, and like what is the unbiased truth instead of the conqueror's version of history. Like,
obviously, if that history involves actions that my grandfather did during World War II, that might be a bit personal, and I might be a bit like, well, I don't want to hear that Granddad did anything, war crimey. But I will say this: if he did war crimes, send him to jail.
Yeah,
I hope he hadn't. My grandfather probably didn't. He worked in the Navy as a supply ship runner, so he should have been fine.
He probably was okay.
Probably. It was a different time.
But
like, if someone says like, oh, well, the actions we did during, in India, I was like, well, I've got no living relative who has any interaction with that. So you can tell me the truth now. I don't care,
Sorry, my dog just sneezed very loudly. Bless you, ma'am. You want to go back to your nap now? Okay. She's an old girl. Sorry.
Oh, nice. You can tell me. I think also I'm not that precious about Britain. I happened to be born here.
That's how I feel about it here too. It's like I don't.
Yeah.
Whatever.
You give me a chance, I would live anywhere else, but I would also move after living in there for a while.
Yeah.
I will go wherever I am interested.
Yeah.
So I'm not precious about like the flag, our history, good old Great Britain. I'm like, Britain ain't that great. Like, Britain's done a lot of good. It's also done a lot of shit.
Done a lot of shit. So it's funny. So I'm not. It's not something that I'm promoting right now because it's not. I'm not done writing it. It hasn't been published yet, but something I am.
Yeah, we won't add this if you don't want.
Yeah. I mean, you can leave this part in. It's fine. But something that I am working on does address everything that we've just been talking about. Where as a high school student in post 9/11 United States, and the propaganda that was just like we were bombarded with, and having military recruiters come into high schools, and the having ads that were like, oh, you like playing video games? Join the army. And you're like, okay, what? And
half of my school friends did tours of Afghan and Iraq. Like,
right.
I was very fortunate. I didn't lose any of my guys. They lost guys, but I never lost any of my guys.
Yeah.
But Like,
Yeah, it's
that's
wild.
not a thing that I don't want anyone to have to, like, the news would come on
Yeah.
and there'd be this war going on and they'd be told it was about civil liberties and fucking terrorism. And it's like, no, it's about oil.
Yeah.
You fucking liars.
It's about capitalism.
It's just about the money.
Right.
And I would look at that screen whenever they said that a soldier had been killed and just be like, please let it be someone else's, mate.
Yeah. Yeah.
And it's just like, that's fucking horrible. It's horrible for everyone involved.
No, it really is. And I was in the context of like this thing that I'm writing. Before I had been able to kind of move my brain away from what I had been bombarded with, I had asked my grandfather, my dad's father. I actually never met my mom's father. He passed away even before my parents got married.
Oh shit, okay.
But my mom's father was older, and he did serve during World War II. My dad's father was slightly too young, and even like just kind of missed the Korean War.
Okay.
And he ended up he joined the army when he was 18 because the draft was still going, and he was like, all right, I'm gonna enlist before I get drafted. Like, I just want to get it over with.
Yeah.
Joined when he was 18. And he was stationed in West Germany from 54 to 56. So it was pre-Berlin Wall. It was this weird time where it was like this invisible enemy kind of a thing where, and it's like there is no active war. Korean War is over. It's too early for Vietnam. This invisible red commie enemy. And it was as I got older, it was interesting to think about that and the context of what I was being bombarded with, and this invisible enemy, and this like what is why are we there? What's the point of this 20-year war? It's kind of the same thing with the Cold War. It's like, oh, but communism and capitalism, and you're like, okay, sure, whatever. Like, if you tell me it's because Stalin is an authoritarian, all right, fine. But if you're like, because communism is bad, is it? Is capitalism good? I don't know. Like,
that's the thing that always gets me with it. Where they're like, goddamn dirty commies. It's like, well, hold on. There are elements of communism that we should all, socialist agendas are not all bad. There are some things that don't service the greater good, but there are other things like healthcare.
Right. Well, the thing that's something that I always find hilarious. Sorry to go off the rails here, but that I always find hilarious here when people are like, "Oh, America's not a socialist country." I'm like, right, but Social Security's fine. Government-funded military, government-funded police. Government-funded unemployment. Should I keep going? What?
Bailing out the banks.
Bailing out banks, bailing out corporations. The big one right now that they're floating is like, oh, the AI bubble's going to burst. Well, don't worry, the government will bail them out. Fucking why?
Why?
So like we can like that socialism is okay, but when we're like, hey, can we have healthcare? Can we like have help? And they're like, no, that's socialism. Okay. Cool.
Yeah.
So it's capital. It's like that's the thing that always drives me nuts. So that's why, like,
I've never understood, and we obviously this isn't a political podcast.
No, of course, but yeah,
it's very much that thing of like, if I was one, I'm not a arrogant psychopath, so I'd never want to run a country.
Same.
But if I were to run a country, I'd make sure everyone was fed.
Yeah.
I'd make sure everyone was educated to the highest standard that they wanted.
Yep.
And I would make sure that they were the healthiest fuckers in the world. Because I would like to create a nation where we have the smartest, strongest, healthiest, happiest people. Yeah. Because then they will go ahead and they'll create the best things. And if they want to then take those skills and go to somewhere else, I want people to know that it's like, yeah, they've come from this place where you are given everything and you are the most nourished you can be.
Right.
And it's like, right, there we go.
Be happy and healthy and kind. It's like,
and if all you want to do is sit at home and raise a family, great. Go be happy.
It drives me crazy.
I don't get capitalism. It
just
doesn't.
And that's why, like, I sat on. I had asked my grandfather to record stories from when he was in the army because I wanted to know what it was like.
Yeah.
And he for years kind of waffled on it, went back and forth and blah, blah, blah. And then finally in like 2018, 2019, he gave me the tape, and then he passed away in 2021. So like, I'm glad that I got it, and he did it shortly before. And then I sat on it for a while. I wasn't sure what to do with it. And it finally just clicked for me, like about a year ago. And I was like, oh, that's what I need to do. Like, this is the story that I need to write. So I'm in the middle of writing it now. I don't know when I'm going to be done with it. I'm writing it actually as a graphic novel rather than as a film, because it's something that I don't want to sit on and then be beholden to because it would be a period piece for multiple reasons. So it's not something that I could just be like, I'm gonna go make it on my own. Like, I can't do that. Like, I got the money for that. Like, I would need an investor. I would need the studios, the big budgets, etc., to make it happen.
Yeah.
And it's a story that I want people to be able to see. So a graphic novel is one that like I can get out there well enough. And
have you ever written a graphic novel?
No, but I am quite familiar with the process and how to do that.
I would say the only because I wrote some short 4-page things to submit as things, and just the formatting.
Oh, the formatting is bizarre. It's very strange.
I just couldn't.
Yeah, it's hard. It's very hard.
I'll do it as a film script because that shows you everything you need. They're like, no, we need panel.
Panel. Yep. It drives
and
me
I'm
crazy.
Just like,
for my film brain, like I'm the same way. I'm just like, yeah, script. And then like I had written one years ago. I sent it to a friend of mine who is a very successful writer and has his own small, publishing label.
Nice.
I sent it to him and was like, hey, what do you think? He's like, your story is great. Your formatting is shit. You need to like actually reformat. So like I went back. And he gave me some help and I reformatted it and then I sent it to him and he was like, this is great, like you should.
Nice.
And it was something that like I was able to get into the hands of a label because it was with a licensed character, and the fact that I was able to get something written with one of their characters into the hands of someone at that label is rare because usually they don't want to read those things for legal reasons.
No, they don't want it.
Yeah, but I was able to get it into the right hands, and they read it and they were like, "This is great," but ultimately because I was no one, they were like, "Yeah, that's cool. This is really really good, but we don't want to, publish someone who is not tested yet in them." And I was like, "Ah, damn." So
and then you go, so how would I be tested?
Yeah, like
you need to get something published. And how would I get something published? Write something that we really want to publish.
Yeah, that drives me insane. That loophole, and it's not just in publishing; it's in filmmaking too.
No.
It's with art also. Like if someone's like, "Oh, I don't want to take art in my gallery for someone who hasn't been seen." Okay, but if every gallery doesn't want me to be seen, how do I get to be seen?
Just put on a show yourself. Well,
right.
Where can I put on a show myself?
Right.
Oh, local community halls. Right, where no one's going to see it.
Where no one's going to see it, but then at the same time, when you do something like that, where like you do something that is a self-curated show that you put on yourself, or you self-published a book, or you self-published a thing, or you self-distributed a film, they're just like, oh, but you did that you did that yourself. That doesn't count.
You didn't do
like,
that.
It counts. Yeah, what are you talking about?
It's a real fucking thing.
It's the real thing.
Right?
I made it. It's real. Yes, it wasn't on a large scale because I did it myself and I had the resources that I have, but that doesn't make it not real. Right.
I heard something recently that apparently galleries now are getting so funny that if you didn't make your own canvas, if you bought a canvas, they don't want it. Doesn't matter how good the art is.
Does that mean that I need to make the literal film that I shoot on first?
My dad has been an artist for 60 odd years, and I told him this, and he was like, what, do you want me to go to fucking Egypt, get the bugs, break it down and make the fucking pigment for each bit of paint as well?
Right. What?
Like, he was like, what the fuck's it matter whether I paint it on a bit of nothing? If I paint it on a bit of cardboard, which I took from an Amazon box,
Right, like who cares?
What the fuck's it matter?
Like,
and he was so irritated.
Do I need to construct the camera myself? Do I need to pull, go get the cobalt and the silicone myself? Like what?
What the fuck, man? What the fuck am I doing? Like it's.
If you need them to make the canvas themselves, why not just go have them chop down the fucking tree too, to get the wood for the frame?
Well, did you grow the tree? Did you grow that tree from a sapling?
Nope. Sorry, I bought the seed. My bad.
You bought the seed? Oh. You got no respect.
Come on.
For the...
Like, when we're... See, things like that, aside from the fact that that's frustrating for everything we just said, it's also like, when we're in an age right now where there's so much AI slop and garbage floating around, we're like, really? We have people who literally just going, hey, computer, make this. And they call themselves an artist because they're like, well, I prompted it. Okay, good for you. You didn't make it.
Well done.
Good,
yeah.
Congratulations. Like, don't call yourself an artist. You're not an artist. I'm sorry. I know that's probably controversial, but it's like when we have when we have things like that happening, but you have you still have galleries going like, oh, your art is amazing. You made it yourself. It's not AI. Thank you so much. But also, you didn't make the canvas, so go fuck yourself. Are you kidding me? Really? That is the exact opposite of what we need right now. What we need right now is for anyone who is in a position to support art, whether it's a painting, a photograph, a film, a book, a comic book, a graphic novel, whatever. Anyone who can say, like, you made this yourself. Mm-hmm. I don't even care if you made it with a crayon on a piece of, like you said, an Amazon box. Like, you made it, not the computer. Thank you.
It's also this thing of the cost to buy a roll of canvas and some timber to do these things, to then make it, to stretch it yourself, to tack it all in, to prime the paint, make sure it's all good, have all the time. That's a luxury that the working class don't have.
No.
So yet again, it is another way of silencing working class artists, where It's just like, these guys, they're already fucked. These guys have got to work 24/7, and in their minutes off, they want to create something because they can't not create. They can't not create. That's what they can't. They can't do it. And now you're going to say that there's yet another barrier of entry. Oh, you're using that brand of paint? Oh, I'm sorry, we don't take. And it's like, shut up.
You did acrylic instead of oil. No, sorry, we don't take that. What?
Get fucked, man. Like, it annoys me so much.
I see that a lot in photography, where people are like, unless you shoot film, you're not a real photographer.
No. If you shoot film and you do well with it, then you have a style. If you shoot digitally and you know how to manipulate the camera to do the thing you want to do and create something, you have your own style. I'll even give you that if you have a very specific look which you achieve through Lightroom, that is still a skill. Yes. You didn't process it through manual, sure, but composition, an eye, you have to have all of these things. I can't just go take any old fucking shot and then stick it in Lightbox and just let it go Lightroom and just let it do its thing. You have to lay it out. You have to have composition. You have to know what you're doing.
You have to be able to use it's it's funny. I think back to it was a wedding that actually Vince was at. One of the girls in the group was getting married, and we all had a very good time at this wedding. But I like to point to this all the time because I'm a photographer. It doesn't matter what camera's in my hand. I know how to take a photograph. Mm-hmm. And when we're at this wedding, and we're at the reception, and it's the first time the couple comes out, and they're about to do their first dance, and there's this high ceiling with this big crystal chandelier above them, and then they had like smoke on the floor, and it was a very cool shot. So of course everyone had their phones out, and they're all trying to get a photo. They're all trying to get their photo, even though there's a professional photographer, but they all want their photo. And my wife hates this story, but and if she's listening, don't hate me. But I walked up to her, and she was like, she couldn't get the shot. I took the phone from her. Everyone's like going up high. I just crouched down low, didn't even look at what I was doing. I knew I knew exactly what I was going to get. Took the photo, handed it to her, and was like, amateur. And I walked away, and it was the best photo that any of her friends had. And she was like, I hate you so much. But my point is that like it doesn't matter if I'm using a smartphone or if I'm using a film camera or a digital camera. It's my trade. It's my art. I know how to use it. I can shoot better on a smartphone than someone who has, a Hasselblad with, Kodak Pro image, who has no idea what they're doing. Just because
100%.
they have the Hasselblad with an amazing lens, and just because they have very good film in it, if they don't know what they're doing, they're going to make garbage.
The amount of rich uncle dentists who bought themselves a lovely fucking Sony A7 whatever, and then they just stick it on auto and just fire it off. And you're just like, oh, nice. What have you got? And it's like, I got this. It's like, well, the colours look nice because that's the colour profile that comes on the camera. But composition sucks. You haven't captured a moment. You haven't got the look. You haven't found the moment where they first see each other. You haven't got it. Your timings are off. But that's the fucking nature of anything that's photography. Like, I did my time as a wedding photographer as well. And the amount of people that would like take it on their phone and then be like, what do you think of that? And I'm like, yeah, it's lovely.
It's fine.
Like, mine are going to get printed, so they have to be better.
They have to be better.
like, and also they know you, so they're going to be a lot more relaxed around you. So I've now got to find a way to capture those candid moments. So you won't see me. I'll be out the fucking way, but I'll be getting you. Whereas you will be fucking right up in their face with a camera, and then everyone might not be as relaxed because there's a camera out. So I've got to be really discreet with my camera. So everyone's a lot more relaxed. It drives me mad.
I'm with you on that.
Drives me fucking mad.
That's why I refuse to do weddings. It's like,
I won't do it anymore.
I'm like, I can't. I'm like, I'm not doing it. I'll do anything except weddings. Call me for anything else, but I'm not doing weddings.
I won't do it.
It's too much. Anyway,
it is too much. It is too much. The juice is not worth the squeeze ever.
It's totally not. I'm sorry, we've gone very off the rails.
Yeah, I just looked at the questions and I was like, oh yeah, this is a film podcast.
Right. We have so many more. Yeah.
What film holds a special place in your heart?
Right.
Talking about things that you hate. Let's go to things that you love.
That I love. Okay, so this one was actually, of all of them, probably the easiest one for me because it's a very, very clear memory for me. So when I was in high school, I said earlier, I was a total theater dork. Like it was, my brother and some of the administration at my school basically were like, you should do this. And it was a way for me to kind of get out of the line of fire of all of the propaganda I was getting bombarded with. And I went to a different space and with different people, and it changed my brain and my life and is why I am where I am now. So if you asked me when I was a dorky theater kid, like, what do you want to do? I would have said that. But the moment I decided I wanted to go to school for film was when I saw Before Sunset. I saw Before Sunset in a theater, and I was like, oh, I want to do that.
Yeah.
That's what I want to do.
Yeah.
Like, I grew up in the suburbs, so the further out you go in the suburbs from New York, I'll say the odder it gets. But there is, you're in New York, there are independent theaters and there's smaller theaters and so on, blah, blah. There's not a lot of that out in the suburbs. And near where I grew up, there was one in one of the more affluent areas that when I was in middle school and high school, they'd take us there for like, in Italian class, you're going to go see La Vita è Bella. Oh, okay. La Vita è Bella. Like, okay, cool. Or like Cinema Paradiso. All right, fine. And I knew about that, but after going there several times, I actually started being curious about what was playing there. And when I saw this movie I had never seen before Sunrise, and I saw this movie, I was like, oh, Ethan Hawke. I like Ethan Hawke. Ethan Hawke is great. I love him. I would gladly go see this movie. So I saw Before Sunset without having seen Before Sunrise, and still at the end of it, I was like, oh, this is what I want to do. So that one holds a really, really special place in my heart. Because it's something that I I still carry with me too. When I think about my style, it was born of that.
Those early Linklater films where it's like Slacker, The Befores, like they're just so well crafted. It's irritatingly wonderful. Like,
I think what's really telling about what it's like to work with him is how many people, like you hear a lot about the Before series from Ethan Hawke and Julie Delpy and so on. And they talk about like their collaborative process, and that's great. But they're not the only ones to say that. And like everybody who works with him is basically like, oh no, he wants to hear what you bring to the table.
Yes.
Like he knows what he wants, but like he's not locked into it. He wants everyone to bring something to the table. And you hear that a lot about like the Coen brothers too. Like, yeah, they have what they want in their head.
Ultimately, it's down to their decision. But if you give me everything, then I can pick what's
exactly.
best.
And I think that's why a lot of like those Linklater movies are so good, because whether it was born of just wanting to be collaborative and work with people, or whether it was born of I don't know what the fuck I'm doing. Whatever it was born of, I think that's what makes them so good. Is that because everybody who worked on that had a hand in it and put their soul into it.
Also, something about Ethan Hawke, like he seems to be getting a bit of a renaissance recently.
Yeah.
Where he seems like he's the most genuine, lovely, supportive actors out there at the moment.
Yeah.
So he doesn't strike me as a person that would work with an arsehole just for the sake of working with a name. He really strikes me as someone who wants to craft. He wants to play the game, and he wants to do the craft, and he wants to do it all. So when you can see, if he works with someone a lot, you just know that like that person's got to be good stuff. Yeah. They can't be an arsehole because my boy Ethan wouldn't fucking take it. You know?
I agree. I agree so much.
Did you see him at was it the BAFTAs, where one of the guys that won a BAFTA, I think it might have been...
It was Michael B. Jordan. As he was walking up on stage, just gave him a big hug.
Oh, no, it wasn't that. Okay. It was another actor. But it was a similar thing, where it was when he was at film school, when he was at like drama school, Ethan Hawke came in and did a talk about being an actor.
Cool.
And he was saying like, and at the end of all of this, I'm currently up for an award with Ethan Hawke. He goes, that is spectacular. And then it cuts to Ethan Hawke, and he just says the words like, well, that's better than winning. And it's like, oh, and I believe you, Ethan.
Yeah.
I believe that you genuinely think like, oh, I've touched the soul of another actor going forward, and if they pay it forward, then that's all that matters.
Yeah, you don't need.
He's like, well, that's better than winning a fucking award.
Absolutely.
And it was like, oh God, Ethan, you're so fucking lovely.
I guess it was 10 years ago. It was when Born to Be Blue came out. And I went with my then girlfriend, and she realized how much of a film nerd I am. We hadn't even been dating a year at that point. So she was like, oh, you're a nerd. We went to a screening that he was going to be at. And,
nice.
And you can tell that there was like the person who was asking this question to him afterward was a student of some kind.
Yeah.
But also like wasn't fully aware of who he was. So, you know, Born to Be Blue, about Chet Baker making his comeback and so on. And she asked him, it was fucking hilarious. She asked him if there were any experiences in his life that he was able to draw on for that character. And his answer was like, he looked at her and he was like, oh, darling, you don't know who I am. Do I? Do you have any idea how many times I've been written about that I'm washed up? Like, they've been saying I've been washed up since I was like 16.
Yeah.
Yes, I had plenty to pull from.
and it's bonkers. Like, even I would have said, like, if someone had said 5 years ago, Ethan Hawke, I'd be like, oh yeah, whatever happened to him? He was really good. But the man's been working.
Yeah. The whole time.
Every day.
The whole time.
He's even if he's just doing theatre. Like, he's doing.
And writing books too.
Yeah. Like, I don't know. It's such... I don't know.
Yeah. Yeah.
But hey, that's a good choice. That's a good choice. I love those films. Like, I really love them. They're... Yeah. There's something about them, like just that whole feeling.
Yeah.
Especially the first one, just talking to someone throughout the night, like walking through Paris, and you're like, oh God, yeah, give me, yeah, and then giving it some time, and we see them meeting up again, and you're like, oh,
it's so good.
It's so good. You can't. There's nothing.
No,
you
can't. Yeah, there's nothing you can't. They're so very much in their own realm, you know. And I think that if any one of the trio was different, they would have been completely different films. Because they all even how Ethan Hawke gets Julie Delpy to get off the train in the first movie, like how it was written. She said to both of them, like, I would never get off the train for that guy. And they're like, all right, like, what would it take?
Yeah, cool. And then why would you leave it? Yeah.
Right. And it's like, took the three of them, like, arguing about this and asking, like, okay, why? Okay, et cetera. And, like, having that conversation. And, like, that's why it's good. It's not because, like, Linklater was like, this is it, do that. It was like, okay, why? Okay, let's talk about this. Let's make this real. Let's make it, what would it take for you to do this thing?
Because there's some directors who are really, they're so, like Kevin Smith, he doesn't want you to deviate from the script. And I know that's rich coming from a man who's made a career of dick and fart jokes, but like, they work, they work in those contexts. And I loved, like, those first run of his films were so good. My God. And Clerks 3, I shed a tear at the end of Clerks 3. Clerks 3 I thought was a really nice, beautiful send-off for those characters.
Yeah.
But, like, I guess if you've got a specific thing that you want to convey, that's great. But if the specific thing you want to convey is personality and realism and this sort of thing that, like, I want all of you to be taken back to when you were 15, 16 and you met someone.
Yeah.
And it's like, so you can't write it about how you remember it. You have to write it how everyone remembers it. And then also having a female voice telling you how to write a female character.
That's why it's good. Look at that. Shocking.
Who'd have fucking thought? Yeah, it's so weird. It's so weird when people just decide to discredit that. Okay. We've had a lot of controversial opinion.
Yes, I have a lot of those. I'm sorry.
Hey, so do I. But what is your controversial opinion on a famous film?
Right. So, like I said earlier, a lot of the ones that are my go-to controversial takes have already been mentioned on the show, especially Christopher Nolan and The Dark Knight, and I'll leave that alone. There's nothing I can say or bring to that conversation that hasn't already been said.
I'm pleased you agree.
Yeah. Okay, so I also very much appreciated that Uncut Gems came up also, because I feel very much the same way. But I would say it's hard because my other controversial opinions are less about a particular film and more about that is beloved, and more about ones that aren't beloved that I think should be.
Nice.
I something that I say often that I think it's mostly because people don't realize what the source material is, but my controversial opinion on a film that is not quite as beloved as it should be is that the best comic book movie is Road to Perdition.
Well done, sir.
Like, there are a lot of really, really well shot films across the history of cinema. And I'm sure that anyone can name something else that they're like, oh, I think this is better. Great. In my opinion, Road to Perdition is the most beautifully, perfectly shot film of all time. You don't really get any better than Conrad Hall when he's like putting in the effort until he dies. Like, but like, yes, it's different than the a bit different than the source material, but I mean, you can make that argument out of every comic book movie, like, and I think where I lose people with that is like, that's not a comic book movie. Yes, it comes from a comic book. I didn't say superhero. I said comic book. Exactly. Something that comes from a comic book, graphic novel, etc. Like that one, top forever. And since we were talking about Roger Deakins earlier, when Roger Deakins even says in his own book that he looked up to Conrad Hall. Like
when the greats are looking at the greats,
right?
Come on,
like you have like early Sam Mendes, you have Conrad Hall, like being Conrad Hall. Tom Hanks, like one of his best, like I think kind of forgotten performances. I think that's the last movie that Paul Newman did before he died. Like early Daniel Craig before anyone looked at him as Bond when he like was playing kind of a skeezy character. Like Jude Law being skeezy in the early 2000s was unheard of. Like there's so many things in that you're like, wait, what? Hold on a second. Really? Yeah, that is one that I feel like people need to go back and watch again and realize how good it actually is.
I will say every now and then someone reminds me about how good that film is, and that person is never wrong. Yeah. Like every time it gets brought up, I'm like, well done. Well done for bringing that up. Yeah. More people should be listening to that. And as a comic book film, I think what I was going to say before was like, yes, it's a comic book film, but the film itself is such a good standalone that you just forget that it was a comic book film.
Right.
Like
it gets forgotten that that's the source material, but like it is. And I think it's in the category that is a small category of films that are better than the source material.
Yeah.
Because after I saw the movie, I went and read the comics, and I was like, these are fine. The movie's better. And actually, so for a little while, I was teaching a college level lighting class, and I brought in the scene in the rain at the end as an example of layering your lighting and using special effect lighting for a particular reason, and not just like, oh, it's raining. No, Tom Hanks is behind the rain and you can't see him. And when that long shot of him walking out of the shadows through the rain is one of the most beautiful things ever. Like it's right up there with that Atonement beach scene of just like, you used the tools so perfectly. It's gorgeous.
I mean, obviously there are other films that have done rain very well, but when you're talking about a film that is like rain lit, so a character can walk through it, which can then translate as, let's use its source material, as like the way you would drawn that is really simple because you just wouldn't have drawn the character until he was needed. Right. So then when you compare that to Sin City, which is another film, hear me out when I say where I'm going. Okay. Like Marv in the rain in Sin City is wonderful because it's only drawn in the like where the water hits him, right? So it's beautifully done. Fucked up when they got into the film. Just didn't work.
No.
Just didn't do it.
I agree.
The fact that you can have like that's how you shoot rain as if it was a comic book but done correctly.
Yeah. Oh no, absolutely. The thing that I was constantly trying to teach my students was, look, there is no wrong way to light or shoot a film. And that apparently made not just my students, but a lot of the other professors and adjuncts quite mad when it got around that I said that. And I said, no, it's true. Yes, there are scientific principles that are facts. I'm not saying those are wrong. The art form of cinematography, the art form of filmmaking is taking those scientific principles and putting them in a specific order to get an effect. There's no wrong way to rearrange the puzzle as long as what you are doing is putting it in an order that gets the effect that you intend. Your job when you are shooting a film is, or when you're a photographer, or when you're a writer, like whatever your job is on a film, is you are doing everything in service of the story. So if the point of the scene is for, Tom Hanks's character to be invisible in this dark, rainy street and feel like the ghost that his character has been built up to be, this ghost that's surrounding them and just destroying this literal mob of mobsters, use those scientific principles to your advantage. And instead of what would normally be a scene is like, okay, your characters are in the center of the scene and the rain is around them. No, that is one part of it, and then there's another world around that, and that's where the ghost is. Like, it's like it's using it for to serve the story, right? And if they put those scientific principles in a different order, it wouldn't have worked. And maybe now, does that mean that it would have looked bad? No, it probably still would have looked gorgeous, but it wouldn't have been in service of the story. It would have looked different and not gotten the effect that they needed. And that was something that I really, really tried to drive into my students, because like that, I think, is something that has gotten really lost in a lot of recent films where people are like, look at this, it's beautiful. And you're like, okay.
So what?
Great. Yeah, it's pretty.
Yeah.
That I don't care.
Do you know, I know a film is struggling when all of a sudden we just get a branch go in and out of focus as a car drives past. I'm like, oh, you need filler shots that look nice. Okay, you haven't got 90 minutes of story here. Okay, good to know. Yeah. And you just think like, right, what you've got is a cinematographer who needed to show that they could do something. And it's like, that's not what this is.
Yeah.
That's not what this is.
Yeah.
What you need to do is show the story.
Yeah, absolutely.
And like, you might, if you've got an ego and you think that the director's got an ego, that's great. The story needs to be told. That's whoever is telling that story, that's the person that has to be heard. And if that person's not hearing everyone else, that's their own problem.
Well, yes.
But when films just shoot for the sake of shoot, like how pretty was that? It was like, yeah, but it didn't do anything.
Right.
It didn't mean anything.
Right.
Like,
well, and see, that's why I feel like that's why I think that we were talking about looking for cinematographers before, and they kept bringing up Deakins. I think that's why someone like him comes up so often, because every single shot that man shoots has so much depth to it. It serves every character. It serves every story. Nothing is wasted.
It's like, you can tell when Deakins has shot it, but not from there isn't a signature, if you know what I mean. You know what Tarantino's fucking written. There's a signature on every fucking line.
Yeah.
But with Deakins, it's, what's the most beautiful shot? Well, it's that shot. Well, that's Deakins. What about the next? Well, that one. Oh, that's Deakins as well. And you're like, okay, right.
Yeah.
He's not signed them. None of them look like a Deakins shot. None of them are lit a certain way. None of them are color graded a certain way. None of them have a specific style. They are exactly what that story needed. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And it's beautiful. I love it when there's a variation in a creator's work.
Yeah. Oh, 100%. That's why, like, I forget when it was. I think it was back in the fall on the Criterion Channel. They were doing like a Howard Hawks thing, and it was so interesting to see. Because, like, I've thought about Howard Hawks films through being a film student and, of course, just being a lover of film, etc. But, like, when you have it all laid out in front of you, you're like, oh, right, his career is odd. Because he goes from these, like, screwball comedies to these, like, drama film noirs, and then he does westerns, and then it's like, oh, he wasn't a specific genre. He just did whatever was interesting to him.
Gun for hire.
And you're like, cool. And like that, I think in the last year kind of has given me a bit more like creative juice and feeling like I feel like I don't have any one thing that like I can point to, because even you look at the two documentaries that I've written, they could not be more different. Keeper of the Bay and Cherries in Season have nothing to do with each other, in any capacity.
But I went to a talk in Austin with the guy who wrote he wrote Twisters, and he wrote The Revenant.
Whoa. Okay. I don't know. I'm sorry. I don't know the writer's name, but
No,
again, could not be more different. Yeah.
That's that's the thing. Someone was saying The Revenant was written by wasn't Mark L. Smith, was it? Yes, Mark Smith.
Okay.
Mark L. Smith.
Okay.
He wrote Vacancy, The Hole, the American remake of Martyrs, Revenant, Overlord, Twisters. Like, the man's all over the place, right?
That's fascinating.
But when people were saying, like, oh, how do you go from writing, like, an Oscar-winning, like, film like The Revenant, but then a popcorn flick like Twisters? And he was like, it's characters.
Yeah.
It's got nothing to do with the outcome. It's the characters.
Right.
And you're like, thank you, man.
Yeah. Like you write what's interesting to you, and it's about the characters.
And I think I'm sure there's hundreds out there, but the one that I noticed the most is Alex Garland. Seems like the only director that is allowed to make a sci-fi film, a horror film, a drama. He can make whatever the fuck he likes. People will take it, and I'm just like, oh, good. Yeah, let him.
I love him.
He's so good.
Yeah, I mean, I think that. I know he didn't direct it; he wrote it, but I think that Sunshine really gets a bad rap because so many people weren't expecting the genre shift.
Yes.
Which, like, I get why people are like, I don't like the genre shift. I'm like, okay, so what? I didn't go into, Avengers Endgame thinking that I was going to get a messy, poorly written time travel story, but that's what we got.
That's what we got.
Okay, whatever. But, like...
And also, do a better job at convincing me that the world would not be a better place after 5 years with no people. Like, come on, guy. Everyone's sad and moping.
Everyone's sad and like, hey man, I'm not advocating for that to be a thing, but like, in reality, I don't think everyone would have been sad and mopey for 5 years and not continue. Whatever. Anyway, I won't get into it. It's fine.
But yeah, like a bit like going to the cinema multiple times. Like sometimes when you see a film that you're really excited to see, you need to see it twice. One, to get it out of the way. What are they going to do?
Yeah.
Right, they're going to do that. Okay.
Right.
Now I'm going to go again, and I'm going to enjoy what they're going to do, you know? And if Sunshine's one where you're like, well, I didn't like the genre shift, it's like, okay, well, now you know it's coming. Watch it again. And then know that it's going to do that. I bet there's some stuff in the front load which is actually going to service the back now. So
yeah,
enjoy that whole little speckled out story. And it's just... there.
Yeah, I'm with you on that. Like, I'm with you on that one. I'm like, if you pay attention, it makes sense.
Yeah.
Like,
also,
it makes total sense.
He's not a bad writer, so you think that wasn't mentioned earlier? Do you think it came out of the blue? If it came out of the blue, it came out of the blue for you.
Yeah, like you were just paying attention to the surface.
You were looking at Cillian and nothing else. Cillian, whatever.
Yeah, I get it.
So yeah.
Yeah. Fair enough.
Well, you also have been talking about being a very tired father. So I imagine other than a lot of like, do you guys have like Bluey and Hey Dougie?
Oh, yeah. We watch a lot of Bluey. We watch a lot of, I don't know if Daniel Tiger makes it over there, but Daniel Tiger is like a spin-off of Mr. Rogers.
Okay.
One that we watch a lot is Puffin' Rock by Cartoon Saloon. We watch that one a lot. So yes, I do watch a lot of children's content, but in between, I am able to at least watch things at home that I want to enjoy. So things that I've watched recently. If I was doing kind of like my Letterboxd 4, I know I mentioned I watched Safety Last recently. We already talked about that, so I'll put that over in the corner. But the 4 that I've watched recently, which is a very weird 4, is THX 1138.
Oh, nice.
Rental Family. Mm-hmm. Prey. And Muppet Treasure Island.
That is a...
Yep, it's weird. It's a weird mix.
It's a distinct difference.
I will say
4 very different films.
I will say Muppet Treasure Island because around the holidays...
Curry.
Well, I mean, Tim Curry, yes, of course. But Muppet Treasure Island because around the holidays, I mentioned that my son was watching Muppet things, and he liked Muppet Christmas Carol. So then we, at some point in the last few weeks, were like, we should try Muppet Treasure Island and see if he likes it. And then in watching it, my wife and I were like, oh, this is a lot. Like, this is...
Oh, really?
Like, it's a bit more violent. It's a bit weirder. It's a little bit more adult than, say, Muppet Christmas Carol is. Not to say that those themes aren't adult, but, like, as a kid, you can still watch it and enjoy it. But Muppet Treasure Island, we were kind of like, we're going to turn this off. And then it kind of sat in my continue watching for a while, and I was like, you know what? I want to watch this. I'm going to go back and start it over. So then I was like, I want to watch it.
Not too much for me.
I'm like, I like it. I went back and finished it, enjoyed it very much. It's funny because it's like the four, like two that were new to me and two that were rewatches. My rewatches were THX 1138 and Muppet Treasure Island. For me, THX 1138, I know, like, when it came out, got a bad rap. It was really weird in 1971. If you watch it now, there are A24 movies that are stranger than that movie.
Nice.
You know, and there are parts of it that, of course, didn't age well, like how they deal with, like certain characters being little people. It's some things don't age well in that. But what I think does age really well in that film is how they address authoritarians, how they address AI, how they address surveillance. And when you watch it now, you're like, we're actually pretty close to that. That's kind of terrifying. Like,
right.
24/7 surveillance, forced sedation, illegal sexual activity, like, it's like all these things that you're like, oh.
I like the meme that's going around as well, that like George Lucas pointed out the problems of a trade blockade 20 years ago.
20 years ago? Yeah, you're like, oh,
George boy.
We thought this was boring in 99, but now suddenly
it's topical.
But yeah, so the two new ones to me were Prey and Rental Family. And I will say I started Prey because I guess I opened Hulu, I guess, and saw Predator Badlands, and I was like, all right, there's all these new Predator things. They keep making them. They keep people like them. I guess I should watch it. But I was like, if I'm gonna watch Badlands, I guess I have to watch Prey. So I watched Prey, and oh my god, that movie is so good.
It's one that I started but didn't finish, not for any reason other than just things didn't time out right.
Okay.
But I was very much into the idea. You know what I mean? Like, as soon as I was told what the film was, I was like, say less, I'm in. Like
when I saw the trailer for it, I was like, that just looks like Predator again, but 300 years before. I don't care. Watching it, I was like, oh my god, this is Predator 300 years prior flipped on its head, and I love it. It's like, it's so well done. The characters are like so well developed and so interesting, and like what evil is and what the Predator is, and like all the, like the way it's all addressed is so interesting, is so smart, and it was really, really enjoyable to watch. Rental Family, I had to watch in small doses, not because it's bad, but because in being a young new parent, everything makes me fucking cry. So every like 20 minutes, I'd be like, okay, I need a break, and then I'd have to step away. But it's like, that's one that like the emotions will punch you in the heart. I really enjoyed it, and of course I think there's a lot of you're thinking to yourself like, well, this is like, when's the other shoe gonna drop? And I think that the film does a really good job from start to finish of like building suspense, not in like the Hitchcockian ticking clock way, but of like, oh my god, that there's a bomb on the bus, and there's they gotta get the bomb off the bus. It's like, no, like, we know at some point that like this person is gonna figure this thing out, and this person's gonna figure this thing out, and then he's gonna be in deep shit. And like, when it all kind of comes to a head, you're like, the way that they handle it, the way that they address everything, the way that the characters come together, it's just so beautifully done. It's so smartly, so smart. I think like this renaissance that Brendan Fraser is having is so enjoyable, because I loved him all through my childhood. The Mummy still is one of my favorite movies of all time.
He's great in Airheads.
Airheads is great, Encino Man is great. Like, I could go down the list of all, like, even Blast from the Past and Bedazzled also both are very good. Like they're exactly what exactly what they're supposed to be. You know, and if Bedazzled does one thing really well, it's showing Brendan Fraser's range, because every single one of those characters that he has to play in that movie is believable.
Very different characters.
All
I've watched
different.
a film about each of them.
Yep, and they're all good. But like,
it also points out how bad of acting Liz Hurley is.
I mean, yeah. I'm sorry. She's very pretty, but she's not,
very good-looking woman.
Not
very good-looking woman.
She's not a very good actress. Oh.
Not a good actress.
I'm sorry. I'll never meet her. Oh wait, I did meet her. What am I saying? It's fine. I won't meet her again.
There we go. Problem solved.
Good. That makes me sound like a douche. Cool. But yeah, those are the ones I've been able to watch recently. But man, I'd really like to get to a theater again sometime soon. But we'll have to wait till the toddler's a bit older.
Well, I felt bad because someone asked me last week, like, "Are you going to see anything at the cinema anytime soon?" And I was like, "I don't even know what's out. Like, I haven't had time to think about that." Mm-hmm. And my partner works sort of like next to a cinema. Okay. So sometimes there's a thing of like, do you want to drive me into the office? And then she's like, and I'll pay for your cinema ticket as a sort of like as your fee. And it's like, yeah, like I'm happy to do that, but I can't do it today. Can't do it tomorrow. I could do it on Tuesday. What's on Tuesday? There's nothing I want to see on Tuesday. It's like, then I won't bother. Yeah. And I have no idea. I have no idea what's even on at the moment.
I couldn't even tell you.
The Bride?
I do want to see that. That does look like fun. Frankenstein is my favorite book of all time, so I always see anything related to it, and whether or not I like it, I still
There's the new Glenn Powell film, which kind of came out of nowhere. How to Make a Killing.
Oh, right.
Yeah. Scream 7, Wuthering Heights.
Nah, I'm good.
Project Hail Mary.
Oh, that one might be fun. I do like that author. I do like Ryan Gosling. Could be a fun sci-fi movie.
Ready or Not 2. That could be fun. Who knows?
There was a Ready or Not 1?
Yeah, with Samara Weaving.
Oh, right. Okay, sorry. I was thinking of the wrong thing. Yes, thank you.
No,
thank you.
It was good fun.
It
was good fun.
Okay.
That's
all right,
okay.
fair enough.
Well, thank you very much for coming on. It's been a very good conversation. I've enjoyed myself a lot with this one.
Likewise, thank you.
Yeah. Not to say I've not enjoyed others.
No, I know we kind of went off the rails in certain corners here, but I really enjoyed this conversation. Thank you for having me on.
It's nice.
Thank you for taking the time.
Oh, no worries, man. And it's always nice when you meet someone who sort of has the same positive views about like film and cinema and like representation and the way that it's just like don't be a dickhead. You know what I mean? Yeah. Thank you very much for coming on. It's been wonderful to speak to you. And definitely stay in touch.
I will. Thank you, Ted.
This has been a Lovable Rogue Productions podcast. Thank you to everyone that listened. If you want to help out your life in film, then download it, like it, share it, and give the pod a follow. I didn't realise till starting this that a download is the way they measure success and not just a listen. So, listening means nothing. Make sure you check out my guests on their socials, which will be in the description of the episode. Take a look at my letterboxd. I've made a list of all the films that have been mentioned on the pod. There's fucking hundreds. So you can find some good films there. There is some good ones. There's some fucking weird ones, and I love them. Quick shout out to some of the podcasts I'm listening to. Caliber 9 from Outer Space. That's Robin Joe's. That's really good. And then The Villain Was Right. That's a great fun. Check that out. If you really want to be a mensch, give me that money. There's a link in the description. It'll explain it all. But a download and a share is excellent, and I actually appreciate that a lot more than you'd think. We currently have no sponsors, but I am open to them. I'll shill anything. I don't care. This has been a Lovable Rogue production. Thank you for listening.